So this overhead bridge is 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 one that everyone should be concerned about. That is the only bridge, overhead bridge, built by the last administration under Ogwai. I mean, before that bridge was even established in the first place, there was this back and forth whether it is even necessary, whether it's important. People went back and forth because of the fact that they would have to do a lot of things along that axis in order to get that overhead bridge fit into that place. So it became increasingly important that that overhead bridge was established there, and it was thoughtful of him to have done that. You know, apparently that's not only the place that overhead bridge should be established. But again, I have to also say that before I go into the details of all the things I want to say regarding overhead bridges in Enugu, is that I'm calling on the authorities. I'm using this platform to call on the authorities to please look at what is going on with this bridge. It's cracky, it's dangerous, and anything can happen. Now that we're seeing that there's an apparent problem with this particular bridge, I think we should do something quickly. I'm also going to use my own platform to speak to these people, because I know I've had direct contact with Commissioner for Lands, Commissioner for housing, infrastructure, as the case may be, and the people that I know within with the board. I just wanted to put this out there, that this is really looking bad, and it's been how many years? Ugwuanyi left in 2023. He built it before he left. So we are talking about from 2023 to 2025. That's like 2 years. We're seeing cracks. So it means that there's some sort of default somewhere. And if that is not quickly checked, we might have some tragedy. So hopefully we have this checked out immediately before anything goes bad or worse, or as the case may be. And it's also a good thing that this thing has been identified. So, but I actually want to say that Enugu, needs more than just one overhead bridge, because in places where you would think that hold up shouldn't be, it's you see hold up. That I think 3 or 4 places that have been identified as a place where an overhead bridge is needed, so that you can have a free flow of traffic in that access. If you look at the rush hours in Enugu, from afternoon, say from 2, 3, all the way till 7, 8, sometimes even 9, because of school runs and maybe people closing from work and maybe holidays and all that. That there are some certain places that have been pinpointed as places that an overhead bridge is needed across Enugu State. One of them is the Noah's Axis. Noah's Axis keeps expanding every day. The place is, I don't know whether there's a certain time of the day it is impossible. You can't pass that Noah's Junction, that four corner. One's coming from Transekolo, the other one coming from T-Junction, the one coming from, from town. So, an overhead bridge is needed there. I don't know how it's going to work, but an overhead bridge, even if it's a mini overhead bridge, it is needed there, and is needed urgently. I know that the governor is expanding the road to double lane to T-Junction, as from Pennox to T-Junction, and then they are taking it down to OP. But I am not sure whether there's a plan for an overhead bridge in that place. But I feel that the double lane I'm not sure, that the double lane might not cut it. I'm not sure. I'm hoping it does. But if it doesn't, I think they should start thinking of establishing an overhead bridge there. So cars that are coming from T-Junction, they'll go under the bridge. Cars that are coming from the Ababa axis, they'll go over. Cars that are coming from, you know how overhead bridge works. So another place that I think an overhead bridge is needed in Enugu State is actually four corners. Four corners, the one by the university. That's Esut. It's 4 corners, just like it's mentioned. This way, that way, this way, and this way. So if an overhead bridge can be established there, it's only a matter of time before you start seeing, because it's also on a highway, it's an express road. You won't necessarily have to meet a lot of, hold up there, but we are beginning to see a surge of estates in that axis. Some people have built estates along those areas, and very soon that place will be so congested that you have issues. So before that gets to that point, I think we should do something, and do something quickly too. Ekobinagu's overhead bridge is almost finishing. So that place would have some respite, because people from that axis have been complaining about how deadly it is going on that axis, on that road. But with that overhead bridge, those crazy hold up will be all over. Those coming from Abakaliki and goes living Enugu into Abakaliki. And I've also seen that people even who live in Enugu and work in Abakaliki, some people work in Abakaliki and live in Enugu, so they go and come back and they see those hold up every day. So that establishment of the overhead bridge in Ekobinagu is a fantastic opportunity for people to at least cut down the time for travel, into and out of Ebonyi State. Another place that is needed, I think, NOAS. No, not NOAS now. I'm talking about Otiba. I don't know. Don't we think that the Otiba needs an overhead bridge? Maybe for now, because of the fact that we have it's a roundabout. You come in around and go, come in around or go. You will still have it a little bit soft, but there are times you go there, it will be so blocked. It'll be so blocked. How it work is people who are coming from Ugui can climb it. Those who are coming and can also climb, and then they will have a routine, a road that will go this way. I just feel something can be done in that Otiba that is better than what we already have there, whether an overhead bridge or a mini overhead bridge or something. Those are the areas that I think that we can do something with an overhead bridge. But this particular video that is showing is actually very, very bad. It's either the engineers that established that particular flyover will be called to find a way around, patching it up, or, doing something extraordinary to make sure that place doesn't crack further. This is a rainy season, and you know how Nigerian rain comes. This is not a good time to leave anything to chance, whether it's your roof, or maybe your car is leaking or your house is leaking. This is not the time to leave anything to chance, because the rains, like I heard this year, according to the meteorological department, they're saying that the rains are going to be quite heavy this year, just like it was last year. That it's going to be heavier this year. In fact, every year the thing gets worse by the year. So, and I'm thinking that we must, as a matter of urgency, try to resolve this flyover on T-Junction. And the flyover has actually really helped. The holdup that they usually experience in that place is no longer, as bad as it used to be, even though we still have flashes of holdup, here and there. But it's beginning to, it actually helped at the time. It came at the perfect time. I know there are other things I heard about the flyover. Before that flyover even came on board, it was really difficult. It was tough. What they call him now? Umahi, people were complaining at the time when led Enugu State that look at what Ebonyi State is doing under Umahi. That Ebonyi State is developing, a lot of roads being built, there's a lot of flyover being established. And Umahi was like what Wike was for Rivers. Wike would just stand up and go and start building overhead bridges. He littered Rivers with a lot of overhead bridges. And the same thing Umahi did with Ebonyi State, doing a lot of overhead bridges. There's somebody who will say, okay, the reason why they are doing that is because they get kickback. That's what they do. There's no governor that doesn't also have kickback on some of the projects that they do. That's me. You and I know these are common knowledge that we that everybody knows. So that okay, why is he not doing overhead bridge in Enugu? Because there are certain places that have been pinpointed as places that you should actually have an overhead bridge, so that would actually help with easing motorists in movement. And I now heard that, oh, this was a rumor. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure it is true. But that the overhead bridge that was done at T-Junction, that the money used there would have been used to create like 3 more overhead bridge in Ebonyi State. I mean, there'll probably be different contractors. You know, Umahi is an engineer by training, so he knows, you know, how to use some of these materials, managing, and then to the point of making sure he gets the best quality, as the case may be. So Ugwany is not an engineer. He's not a building engineer or a construction engineer, you know. So there are 2 different things. Maybe he must have gotten somebody who prized the project so much. I mean, because it was the only, in fact, it was a legacy project under Ugwany. It was a legacy project, and people praised him for it, even though some person said that the money that they used was too much. But people really praised him for having done what he did in that place, because it actually eased a lot of traffic. Well, I know the current governor is trying to do double lane to ease more people, ease the traffic in that axis. So we're looking at expanding the area so that it will a lot better. And but again, I'm using the opportunity to call the attention of the T-Junction flyover that is cracking, and it is rainy season, and we must do something quickly in order to resolve it. When it is done, I'm also going to do a video regarding it. All right, it's very, very important. All right, thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it.